I think I was a little, I didn't know what to expect. And so I think there was so much of this because since I got saved, I hadn't dated anyone else before. Alex and I were kind of starting down this road. So I think there was a lot for me where it was all new, doing it God's way, if that makes sense. And so I think there was, in all of it, it was every step of it was a little bit of like, okay, what happens now kind of thing, what happens now? And so I don't think I wasn't like crazy shocked.
Because you didn't get mad on the phone.
No. But I was like, all right, well, like we'll figure this out. But I obviously knew in my heart, like if this is going to work, then her mum needs to be on board. Like her parents need to be on board.
So good.
So for me, I was like, we're not going to mess this up. Just going against her parental
Beautiful.
blessing. So
Yeah, and that's right. And so for 2 weeks I prayed, and I actually ended up getting the flu, and I got really sick. And I ended up having to go move in with my sister and her husband because my mum wouldn't even take care of me.
Stop.
Like
Stop.
and that's
all my fault,
that
guys.
makes my mum sound really horrible because she's very nurturing. And when you're sick, she's got the chicken soup brewing, she's got the bone broth, she's got everything. And so this is how upset she was that I'd even considered dating Henry, because of her view of Henry was that he was just a scruffy musician.
And she wasn't wrong. You know, like I was.
Is what it is.
Long hair, didn't wear shoes.
Didn't wear
all the
shoes,
time.
would come in late,
Surfer, musician, poor, like
would eat Burger King
Poor.
all the time.
just no money.
Red flag, huge red flag. Yeah. But I think it's so
let's just-
profound though that you ask her, and I've heard, you did a teaching on the fear of God, Alex, which was incredible. And
Yeah.
you shared the story at length and talked
Yeah.
about how at one point you hurt your dad by kind of deceiving him with a guy and just the
Yes.
brokenhearted. What were the
Yes.
words your dad said to you in response when he found that out?
Oh, I can't even remember.
It was something about how disappointed he was. And
Oh yeah, he was very angry. I mean, did I share the part where he literally threw the chair in the dining room
think
and was
you did.
literally so angry? Yeah, I can't remember off the
He
top of
said, not you too.
Oh, that's right. He says, not you too, because he thought, here's my fourth child is going to go on a trajectory. And it was and that for me, disappointing my dad arrested something in me because he was like, please don't go on a trajectory that's going to ruin your life. Like you're making a wrong decision. So I just couldn't break my parents' heart anymore because I'd been dating a guy for literally 3 years secretly. And because I knew they wouldn't have approved of him either. I mean, I had a really bad track record back when I was broken. I mean, he was a sweet guy, but he was just not living life God's way. And so when it came to Henry, the funny thing was my dad was all for it. When I told my dad about it, my dad was go, oh, that's so fantastic. I'm so happy for you. And then my mum was like, no. And so for 2 weeks, I just fasted and prayed. And I just said to the Lord, not my will, but yours be done. If this is you, you're gonna actually turn my mum's heart around. And in fact, she would pray with her intercessor friend every Friday. And I said, God, speak to her through Lucy. I said, because mum needs to get the word of the Lord in her heart. And if this is you, you'll make a way. Well, 2 weeks to the day, I'm about to go to work on that Saturday morning. And she says, oh, before you leave. And I'm like, oh, she's talking to me finally.
Wow.
And she goes, I was with Lucy yesterday and we were praying and she had a vision about me. And she said, what's in your heart for Alex is your idea. But God has purposed her husband and the man that she's choosing is the right one. And you need to yield.
Wow.
You need to yield. And she repents with Lucy. She repents before the Lord. And so she says, and from today onwards, you don't even have to wait. I give you my full blessing. And I just remember getting in the car, calling Henry and bawling my eyes out because I'd watched God do an absolute miracle, which you got to understand that if we've ever had hard times in our marriage, and we did, I go back to that moment of knowing that God put us together and that God made a way so that I knew this was a union that wasn't just something I manipulated and something that I was doing. And so it was just a really incredible, beautiful confirmation to know, now Henry is the right one for you. And now Henry is literally my mum's favorite.